All right, I've got the wiring for the cabin portion pretty much done. Also ran wiring for the trailer lights. So you can see here's the wiring for the trailer lights. It'll come out right here. Here's the tongue. So it'll come out around here somewhere so it can run along this um, beam right here. You can see where it goes through my holes here that I drilled. Comes out through the sides. This is for the side marker light. Have that on both sides. Made splices right here into the appropriate wires. And then I run it up through the spars, and it joins up with the 12 volt lighting for inside the cabin and runs along here. Back to the back. Comes out through the cabinet, and there'll be a wire mold that I'll build that will run it down into this lower cabinet. This right here is the power converter that I bought, and so you can see I've got some of the stuff, the 12 volt stuff, hooked up just so I could test the wiring, make sure all my splices were good and everything was working fine. So everything seems to be working fine, and so now the next thing is I'm going to put the insulation in. And so what I've had to do is I've taken these panels of insulation, and each one of these is going to take 2 sheets. So they're 3/4 inches sheets, and so in order to make the bends, I've had to put some kerfs into the insulation. And basically what I did is I just took my table saw and I set it so it would go halfway through the insulation, and then ran them about 1 inch apart, something like that. And so that allows them to bend nicely around the curved part of the ceiling here. So these are the pieces that I've already cut, and then you can see I've also just taken some scrap plywood and made little thumb cleats here. And what this will do is this will basically hold the insulation in place when I'm gluing it up, and these can turn. And you'll see that as I get these pieces in. I'll leave a little slot here so this wiring can run inside of the slot in the insulation, and everything else will be glued. Alright, hopefully you can kind of see what I'm doing here. Okay, now that's not going to stick down until I put the cleats on. That won't be until I get the outer section on. Okay, so here's one of the outer pieces. And then I just take my cleats and I close them like that. And hold it all in there. Alright, now, as a little bit of added push, I've got some shims that I'm going to put in here as well. These are just little strips of wood. Just some scrap plywood that I had. And that'll just push everything in nice and tight. There we go. Okay, so that's one panel, and then I will just go on to the next panel and do exactly the same thing. Okay, leave that overnight, then I'll move the cleats up here and we'll just keep working our way up. Okay, I'm ready to glue the insulation down into the panel that's closest to the hatch here, and this is where all the wires kind of converge and go down into this cabinet. So I just wanted to show you what that looked like. So here's the panels that, and I've cut out slots for all of the wires. And you can see what I've done is I've just taken some electrical tape and kind of bound the wires together and kind of grouped them so they kind of stay in place. And then just cut the insulation so it fills all of the holes, and then the second sheet will go on top of that and glue down on top of that, and that seals it all in together and makes a good stiff structure once I put the skin on. Okay, so here's the front of the teardrop with most of the insulation panels put in, and I've got to put this one in right here. So these are my trailer lights, and you can see where they go out to the side marker lights, and then it goes back through the roof back to the back. But so what I've done is I've got my connections here, so it goes over to that other marker light. I run the wire, just temporarily taped it down, and then I've cut a whole bunch of foam to fit in around all of this stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and put that in now. So I've got all the panels glued in, and everything came out pretty good. There were some high spots, which is to be expected, some places where they stuck up a little bit above the spars. And so I went ahead and sanded all of the panels to give them a nice smooth and round surface that matches the roundness of the sides. And the way I did that, put the camera down here for a second. So what I did is I just took a piece of scrap piece of foam, took a belt sander belt, 80 grit, and just glued it to this piece of foam. So it'll kind of make a curve here, and then sand it like this. When I first started, I forgot to put my respirator on, and so I've been coughing up pink stuff for about a day and a half. So remember to put your respirator on when you're sanding this stuff. It's pretty nasty. Last part of it, I did put my respirator on, and that helped a lot. But so remember to do that when you're sanding this kind of stuff. But it all came out nice and smooth, and I'm getting ready to put the skin on.